Hi, first graders. Okay, so I'm still outside because I know we're talking about weather. So I thought it would be kind of fun for me to do my weather read aloud outside. So I'm going to do this read aloud because I miss reading to you so very much. And this book is from a series called I Wonder Why, and it helps explain why some of the things happen that we sort of just take for granted. Okay, so I'm going to be reading this book. It's called Clouds, Rain, in Clouds Again. Okay, and it is by Lawrence F. Lowry. All right, so there's the front cover. Go ahead and look at that. Use some of your prediction skills. Tell someone near you, what do you think this book is going to be about? Do you think this book is going to help you learn something new? Do you think this book is nonfiction, which means not fake? Remember, nonfiction, not fake, which means it's real and it has facts? Or do you think it's a fiction story, which means that it's a made-up story? Do you think that the author, remember I said that was Lawrence F. Lowry. Do you think that the author wrote this book to persuade you to believe something new? Or to get you to do something? Like, remember we talked about in the cafeteria where we were persuading the cafeteria workers to serve ice cream. Do you think they're going to persuade you to do something? Do you think they're going to inform you about something, like telling someone how to go through the cafeteria line? Or do you think that they are going to entertain us with a personal story or a made-up story? Okay, so think about those things to yourself. Tell your parents about it. Talk to your dog about it. Whatever you want to do. Okay, and I will start reading because I know you're anxious to hear the story. There are some beautiful pictures in this story. Okay, and it is illustrated by Betty Frazier. Here's sort of that front cover page. Okay, so this is the first page. I'm going to show it to you a little bit before Okay. Have you ever looked up at the sky and watched the clouds float by? Now, you know what I noticed, first graders, is I noticed that two of the words in that sentence rhymed. Two of them rhymed. I'm going to read it again. Remember, rhymed means they sound the same at the end. Okay? I'm going to read the sentence again. See if you can figure out which words rhyme. Have you ever looked up at the sky and watched clouds float by? Think about it for a second. I'll read it one more time. Have you ever looked up at the sky and watched clouds float by? Tell someone near you which two words rhymed. If you said sky and by, you are correct. Say those words with me. Sky, by. Good job. Those two words do rhyme. All right, let's keep going. Sometimes the clouds are so thin that you can almost see through them. When these high, thin clouds are in the sky, it is almost always a very fine day. Okay. On a bright, sunny day, look above you. You can sometimes see flat clouds that stay smooth and bright. When these clouds are in the sky, chances are that it will not rain. Have you ever seen clouds like these? They look like balls of cotton in the sky. Can you see those clouds that look like balls of cotton? You may be able to see many things when you look at these clouds. You may see make-believe ships and castles. You may see giant faces. Sometimes these puffy clouds change. They get dark and gray. This tells you a rainstorm may be coming your way. Two more rhyming words there if you were paying attention. Sometimes when you look up, you see a gray sky and dark clouds. They even hide the sun. On such a day, it is almost sure to rain. You hear thunder. Thunder makes the air shake and tremble. Maybe the sky lights up when lightning leaps across it. When this happens, down from the clouds come the thunderstorm rains. Now, I want us to stop for a second and think about the main idea of this story so far. Okay, I'll kind of leave this picture up here for you. So the main idea of this story so far, think about it. Is it just about rain so far? Is it just about this little boy so far? Or is it about clouds so far? Think about it for a second. Okay, think about it. What has this story been mostly about? What have all the pages talked about? Not the small details that we found on pages. Because this little boy, he's on this page, right? But think about it. He's a small detail. What have all the pages talked about? And we always find hints in our title for our main idea. What do you think the main idea is? If you think clouds, you would be right. All the pages have talked about clouds. They've talked about rain a little bit, but clouds have been talked about the most, and that's how we know that has something to do with our main idea. You may not like a rainy day, but rain is water and water is needed. The water we drink once fell from the clouds. The water we use for washing and swimming also came down to us as rain. All right, so our main idea has shifted. Now they're talking about rain a little bit more. First part of our book talked mostly about clouds, but that talked a little bit about rain. Trees and bushes need water that falls as rain. Grasses and shrubs, mushrooms and ferns need the water that comes from rain. Every living plant needs water, and every living plant needs rain. Well, I would definitely say the rain's become part of our main idea, right? Animals in the forest need water to drink. Animals in the fields need water too. Every animal, large or small, needs the water that falls as rain. Everything that lives needs water. The water that flows in rivers and streams once fell from the clouds as rain. The water that fills the lakes and ponds comes from the clouds as rain. Now it's talking about clouds and rain. The water that flows over rocks, the water that splashes and tumbles, the water that splatters and spills, all once fell from the clouds as rain. Ponds and puddles, oceans and seas, all get their water from rain. Where do clouds get water? How does rain get into the sky? When a puddle dries up, water goes into the air. Most water evaporates into the air. Talk to someone near you, parent, your sibling, about what the word evaporates means. Evaporates, that's a big word. Okay, we'll talk about that later. Evaporates in the air. And it says in the book, when a puddle dries up, the water goes up into the air. That's part of the definition of evaporates. High in the air, this water forms clouds. Sometimes the water in the clouds forms drops, and when large drops form, they fall down to the earth again. So you see, we must have clouds to bring us rain, but there must be water to make clouds again. The end. Okay, so they've got a couple different kinds of clouds here at the end, so I'm going to just briefly go over them. It's kind of hard to see, but the first one is the cirrus cloud, cumulus, stratus. Those are those first three kinds, if you can read those. Oh, those are the only three kinds it talks about. Okay, so there's a couple science activities that I might be able to post some pictures of here. If you have the materials at home, you could practice them. But that book, let's talk about what it was mostly about. Okay, we thought it was going to be about clouds at the beginning, but then it's sort of talking about rain. But the main idea of that book was how clouds rain, right? The clouds provide us with rain, and the waters go back up to become clouds, right? The water goes back up, it becomes the clouds, and then it rains again. So it's about the cycle between the rain and the clouds, right? So that was the main idea. Okay? All right. Thank you for listening, first graders.